It is madness. And, I find that it's most common with women. They don't want to stand up and speak out, and they go along with whatever they're told to go along with. And it outrages me so much that we're literally fighting other women to not have our spaces taken from us, to not have our safety and dignity compromised. It is frustrating.
Well, I'm with Heather Mason, and folks, Heather used to be a convict, and she's gone from behind bars to being one of the, bravest feminists out there. She's standing up for some of the most disenfranchised women, that would be female prisoners, who now have to endure, thanks to Justin Trudeau, men it's just saying, I identify as a female, no surgery, no hormones, nothing. You can really have 350-pound bearded Bubba saying I'm a chick, and so be it. Heather, what is the latest on this ongoing farce? It's more than a farce, because it's dangerous to real women behind bars, is it not?
It is dangerous, and I'm sure you read about the recent Luca Manata, who is identifying as a woman and going by Violet, and how they transferred him to medium security so that he's able to live out his fantasy of being a woman. What's next? Going to the women's prison so that he can watch us and start acting more like a woman? It is madness. And, I find that it's most common with women. They don't want to stand up and speak out, and they go along with whatever they're told to go along with. And it outrages me so much that we're literally fighting other women to not have our spaces taken from us, to not have our safety and dignity compromised. It is frustrating. When I first got here, I was told right away by some of the women to watch out for a certain prisoner. And I said, wait, we have men here? And they're like, yeah, we do, but you're not allowed to call them men, and you have to use she, her pronouns.
Are you telling me, Heather, I can just deviously say, hey, I'm a woman all of a sudden, and I'm here?
Yes, you could.
Will you do your best to ensure that trans women are put in prison, or prison more appropriate to their gender identity?
The answer is yes.
The next day it was policy. And
unbelievable.
That is how much consideration women got.
Heather, I couldn't agree more, and I base that on example. My cameraman Nefra and I went out to Fergus, Ontario last summer. Ash Davis, he's the male, pretending to be a female. When we went to scrum him, what shocked me was that his female teammates got hysterical. These are young 20-something women, and they were screaming, trans women are real women. Some of them were crying just for the audacity of asking questions. And yet he's clobbering real women on the pitch.
34-21. Yes,
Mr. Davis, Ash, why are you doing this? I'm David Menzies, Rebel News.
Hi. No, you're not really a part of this. Human rights.
What about the human rights of biological women being injured by this man? As a mother, why would you expose your kids to a massage?
That is my partner. That is my wife that you are being.
So he's a lesbian?
It's not a sport, or it's not an issue.
I'm a registered social worker, sir, and I demand human rights for everybody.
Oh, okay. They just. Yeah, what's a biological female?
How do you feel about a biological male playing in rugby, man?
Thank you.
I don't really give a f***.
Everybody.
Okay. I don't know what is a crime anymore.
Well, sometimes we all ask ourselves that, right?
We went to Windsor to a women's shelter where Cody Detremont started to identify as Desiree Anderson, got into the shelter, was then subsequently charged by Windsor police for sexual assault. Golly, who saw that coming? Cody/Desiree is now identifying as a cat. I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. And again, when we went to that shelter, two 20-something employees came out to my camerawoman and I and started, chanting trans women are real women. And yet I would say if you believe that rubbish slogan, this isn't diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is misogyny.
It is, and it's also exclusion, not inclusion, because if you don't go along with their mantras and what they believe, they exclude you. And I found this out in 2019 at the Canadian Association of Elizabeth Fry Societies. When I went to their conference, they were passing an inclusion policy, and us women like formerly incarcerated women who were not in agreement with this policy, we were excluded, and we no longer were able to speak for them on panels about strip searching and other things. And like I said before to you, my friend got up there and said she was groomed and harassed by a serial pedophile, and they said you don't need a vagina to be a woman, and they're concerned about the transphobia in the room. And it was that conference and those women that made me stand up and start advocating for women in prison.
And this is the Elizabeth Fry Association, that, you know, the people that should be standing up for female convicts and ex-convicts. That's astonishing. What are we dealing with here, Heather? Is it indoctrination through the education system, which seems to be beginning at the elementary school level these days?
So it's that, yes, but also it's so in order to get funding, then you need to be able to tick off all the requirements to obtain that funding. So if public safety or whoever passes policies saying that you need to be inclusive and that trans women are women, in order for you to get that funding, you need to go along with what they say. And that's where our main problem is with our institutions.
Absolutely astonishing. It's the almighty buck. They say in our business, always follow the money. So in order to receive the funding, they'll put their principles on the back burner. They'll put science on the back burner, i.e. biology, just to get that stipend from the government. I think that's despicable, Heather.
It is. You really realize that everything in life is about money. And it's sad because then we are harming women, we're harming children, we're harming the most vulnerable women in society, which are in prison, all because you want to line your pockets.
And you know, I think the first time I met you, it was at that Kitchener female penitentiary, and a couple of the guards came out and they were more concerned that we were on the grassy berm. I mean, we weren't trespassing. We weren't going to try to break into a prison, for goodness sake. And they even called the cops, and a police officer came along. And I don't know if you recall this. I said to I think it was a sergeant, if you arrest me and convict me, I just want to say that I identify as a woman. I want to be incarcerated there. And he said, I think he said words to the effect of, well, that's the thing. You can identify whatever you want. And I think that's the problem. One last thing. If I do get arrested for trespassing, I want to declare to you, Officer Hand, that I right now identify as a female. And if I'm found guilty, I want to be incarcerated in that building. Is that okay?
Well, this is a federal prison, sir, and nobody said anything about getting arrested today.
Okay, but if I do, I want to be known as a female as of this moment.
Sir, you have the right to do whatever you want.
Apparently so. Heather, one last question. We know what the problem is. What can we do in the future, at least when it comes to female prisons, in reversing this ludicrous stipulation that a man merely has to say, I'm a woman, and you are in with the real woman?
So step one is changing the public's opinion. Well, really, it's about educating them, because a lot of people are unaware of what is going on, and our government officials don't care until the public is outraged, and then they push for them to make changes. So like Pierre started talking about these things recently, and he did try to backpedal and pass the ball to provincial and municipal, but prisons are federal. So we need to push Pierre to deal with federal prison, domino effect, and then we can start fixing everything else too.
I think it's a winning policy, Prank. And one last thing, to show you how ludicrous this policy is. If, say, God forbid, you were arrested and convicted again, and you got a sentence of a couple of years, if you said, I identify as a man, I want to do my time at Millhaven, request denied, right?
Yes, because of overriding health and safety concerns, because I'd be raped in a men's prison.
So all this bullcrap of you are what you identify as, it goes out the window once the rubber of reality hits the road. The idea that prison guards would be on a 24/7 duty preventing a real woman from getting gang raped, that just shows you, I think, Heather, the utter hypocrisy of this.
Yes, it does show it.
Well, keep fighting, Heather.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wow, the common sense espoused at this conference. it was a shock to the system given the garbage that we have to listen to from the radical elites, from politicians to our mainstream media types. Folks, if you want to take a stand against transanity, please go to transmadness.com. That's transmadness.com. Sign the petition, and please, if you're able to, kindly make a donation.